Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Toya T. I'm making a short video today about the Lyft 5-star rating system. It was requested by one of my followers, and I said I was going to make a video about it this weekend, so I'm doing so. So if you don't know, for Lyft, they give you the opportunity to not only rate your driver but also the passengers, and the rating system is on a 5-star system. Now people have I've heard from different people, from drivers and passengers, who kind of have issue with the rating system. Maybe not more from passengers, but more from drivers. The main concern for drivers is that if our rating goes below a certain number, so if it goes below I think 4.7, and you can correct me if you know better, but I've never gotten that close, so I'm not. I just try to stay away from anything that's below 4.8. But anyway, I think it's below 4.7, or it might be below 4.6. If that happens, they can kick you out of the system. They can kick the driver out of the system, and they no longer will be a driver for Lyft. Now, the rating never goes down dramatically, so if you get flagged or get a low rating from one of your passengers or consistently, it will slowly go down so that you will have a chance to kind of rectify the situation and figure out what you're doing so you can get better ratings. And then, you know, Lyft does give you like warnings like, hey, just notice that your rating has gone down significantly. You might want to check on this and, you know, pay attention to your comments. If it's friendliness or cleanliness of your car or safety or navigation, you might want to work on those things so that you can get better ratings. Now that's great for people who are you know, maybe new drivers, and usually I know when I was a new driver that my rating system went up and down because you're getting to know it. As I tell most new drivers, it is a learning process, and you learn what works for you. You learn how to have complete strangers in your car, and you know, how to interact with them, and how to make sure that you make it the best ride possible. And you know, you also learn how to read people, which I think is absolutely important in this in ride sharing, that you be able to read people. So if it seems like someone needs to talk, you talk to them. If someone seems like, I'm usually one of those people that you get into the car and you do not want to talk, then you say hello, how you doing, have a nice day, but you leave them alone. But you have to know how to read people, and so I think that's also very important. Now, about the rating system, one of the big flaws is that the passengers themselves are not very knowledgeable about the rating system. And Lyft kind of, you know, puts it upon the driver to inform the passengers about what the rating system is and what's the appropriate way to rate drivers. Because, you know, you see a 5-star system and you think, okay, maybe the person talked too much, or maybe they made a wrong turn, or maybe I just felt like their car smelled a little bit. I don't know. Or you just didn't like their attitude, you didn't like what they were wearing, you like the driver was wearing, or their music was too loud, and then you give them a 4 out of 5 stars. And you think that's perfectly fine, because if you're looking at grading systems, you know, a 4 is a passing grade. But in the case of the rating system for Lyft drivers, it's not. If we have a 4 out of 5, we're not even drivers anymore. And we get too many 4s because passengers don't know how to make comments. Like sometimes people put the ratings, but they don't explain why they're doing that. It becomes a problem because if you get too many 4s, all of a sudden you go from a 5 to a 4.8 all of a sudden. And that can be really jarring for drivers because, again, we're afraid of being kicked out of the system, and you really don't have any kind of say-so over your ratings going down. Now, one thing that I did get from headquarters is that there's a reason why the drivers are also allowed to rate the passengers. So one, because you can let other drivers know of someone who is not a great passenger, maybe someone who's disrespectful of people's cars and disrespectful of the drivers, and so you can make sure that person can be kicked out of the Lyft system and not be able to take a Lyft. But also it gives you the opportunity to kind of counter anything that you possibly see your passenger trying to flag you on. So one of my issues, and it just in general, I mean, just in my own driving, not just driving for Lyft, like I may be from Boston, but I am not I still use navigation to get everywhere, because you really just don't know Boston is a really hard city to drive in. It's not straight. The streets turn and curve, and there's like 15,000 Washington streets and Tremont streets and all these other streets that could be in different towns and different parts of the city, and they make circles. And so I make sure that I use navigation, but sometimes the navigation is slow because of connectivity or whatever, or you just misread it. And I made a lot more navigation issues, navigation errors in the beginning of my driving, and then sometimes I still do now, but I make navigation errors when I'm driving to work. So it's human nature to make those kind of mistakes, but when I do it, I do apologize, and I let the person know that I made a mistake. And if they want to, if they feel that the ride has been extended and they're getting charged more, that they have the opportunity to contact Lyft headquarters, send them an email and tell them exactly what happened, and they will be reimbursed. I've had it happen to myself where I've been reimbursed for navigation errors that occurred when I was in a Lyft. So I let them know what their rights are, and so just to kind of mitigate that. But if someone doesn't seem satisfied, so some people don't really care, they're sightseeing, they liked your conversation and realized it could happen to anybody, so you may not have a problem there. But then you have other people that had an incident where a young woman thought that I was driving all around the city when I was really sitting outside her house for 5 minutes, and she tried to yell at me, and I was like, no, I've been sitting outside your house for 5 minutes. Just because the Lyft app sent you a text message 5 minutes after I got there does not mean that I was not here, because if you looked at the actual pin, I was outside and I contacted you. So I know that she probably gave me a low rating because she was ready to cancel it. And I was like, well, you can go ahead and cancel, but you're going to get charged. So I don't know why you want to do that. But in that case, they're saying that you should use the comment section so that you can say, this passenger already came in my car with a bad attitude and there was a miscommunication. And so that if they give you a low rating, that you're able to counter that by saying, hey, this is what happened, so that when they're doing the rating system, that they know what happens and there's less likely to decrease your rating. So I think the rating system is okay. It's good. I mean, it's good for people to be, in this world of ratings and reviews, I'm a habitual Yelp user, so I love, and TripAdvisor, I love being able to read other people's opinions about things. For the rating system for drivers, I feel like, and they're working on this, that they need to kind of find a new way to do the rating system, or at least make like a 4.5 or 4.75 system for the passengers to rate the drivers, because I don't feel, or at least have something that explains the system more, maybe like a short survey that they do, and not just the stars in the comments for the passengers, like something that would make it so that the passengers are a little bit more knowledgeable about how to rate the drivers, because it does affect people's livelihoods. And if you're just trying to be Mr. Super Perfection or Miss Super Perfection, and are basing it off of like, well, this driver didn't give me water and this driver did, so I'm going to give the driver that didn't give me water 4 stars, even though they were just as good and got me to my place safely. So anyway, I'm rambling. Let me know what you guys think about the rating system, if you think they should change it. I definitely think that they need to make some tweaks on it. They should keep the rating system, but tweak it a little bit. And in the cases of me, my rating right now is a 4.91 out of 5. So, I would love to see it higher, but I think that's pretty much as high as it gets, because you never get the full 5 stars all the time. And I do aim for it, but I don't remember the last time I had a 5 out of 5 rating. I think it was when I first began. So I'm happy with what I have, and I know exactly, where the rating system works for me and where it doesn't work for me, and how I can improve it. But let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Share with other drivers, other passengers, other people that are interested in the rating system. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.